What's up, party people? Welcome to Honest Trailer Commentaries, the show where we talk about our show that talks about other movies and shows. I'm Joe Starr. That's Dan Murrell.
I have my headphones on and I'm just rolling with it.
You're just ready to go.
Just ready.
Lon Harris.
I feel like I should put my headphones on now so there's some parity.
Should we all just decide to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
I
just
didn't
all
mean
do
to.
it.
I think jump in.
We're with you, solidarity.
Yeah.
Guys, Spencer is still a dad. Today we're talking about still a dad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you know, as Kanye West said, 18 years. Yeah.
That's how long he'll be gone?
Yeah, he will be gone for the next 18 years until his child is in college.
Well, that's how it works. That's how paternity leave works.
Yeah, I think so. Thank God we have such a...
In progressive countries.
No, 18 years of paternity leave. This week we're talking about Robin Hood, which, Dan...
Yeah.
This
is my baby.
This.
Oh, I wanted us to do that. I walked out of the theater saying we're doing this for an honest trailer. The views are going to be low, and I don't care, baby, because this is the kind of movie that
for us.
Honest Trailers was made for.
Yeah. You know what was not made for honest trailers? Lego Batman, which a lot of people have already been like, where's Lego Batman? Lego Batman is an honest trailer.
It's the least honest trailerable movie of all time, maybe.
Yeah, and movies that are intensely like self-referential. I don't know if people realize, like, if it's already really meta, it's very hard for the honest trailer because the movie's kind of already pointing out its flaws.
Yeah.
We've called Ryan Reynolds twice. There's a reason why, because we wrote half a Deadpool trailer and just went, I don't know what else to say. Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, he's honest trailering his own movie throughout.
Yeah, there was a brief, tiny sliver that we were going to get Will Arnett way back in the day to do Lego Batman. That did not happen. That was the only way we were ever going to do a Lego Batman trailer, is if Lego Batman just did it.
He realized it would be a huge mistake.
Yeah. Come on. Oh, come on. But... So we're not Lego Batman,
no.
And that's why. So we're doing Robin Hood, which I was so glad you made me watch this, because this is so bad.
It's such a perfect example of everything misguided about movies today.
It has everything.
A property no one cares about.
Sure.
Ripping off Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx.
But it was so clearly like, hey, Robin Hood, let's do a Robin Hood movie without even like a take on. It's just the Robin Hood you already know again.
No, forget what you think you know, Lon.
But it's exactly what I think I know, except for the rampant historical errors, which I'm sure we'll point out. But it's the exact Robin Hood legend you've seen in every other movie that does Robin Hood.
But again, Lon, forget what you think you know.
I forgot.
Or what you've already seen.
I mean, I have forgotten the Ridley Scott Robin Hood. Like, I saw it with Russell Crowe. I couldn't tell you anything.
I never actually saw it. Everyone was like, no, and so I just never...
I only remember it ends with him becoming Robin Hood. Like, the whole movie is like Robin Hood begins, basically. And so when this one, spoiler alert, basically tries to do the same thing, it's like, even that's already been done by another movie.
But has any other Robin Hood called him Rob?
Hey, Rob.
Maybe.
You know what? Oh, my God, the Disney one does.
They call him Rob?
That's not in the trailer, but the Disney, Hey, Rob. Yeah, I just remembered that.
So there you go. I'm not...
Son of a... this movie.
Why would you do Robin Hood if you didn't have any new place for it to go?
Anything to say?
Because $100 million doesn't spend itself, Lon.
Yeah.
They were just like, look, these kids love Robin Hood. They're running around in their Robin Hood costumes. They're cosplaying Robin Hood. They're all over HoodCon.
Yeah, so archery camps are huge right now.
So we got to play into this, like, the Robin Hood craze.
Well, at first I was going to say, well, because they'll lose the IP, but then I was immediately like, no, it's public domain. No.
We could literally make a Robin Hood movie here tomorrow.
I think we should.
Legally.
I think that would be a very good use of our time.
But just like set it in the future in space or it's coming.
Yeah.
But like do something to give it some kind of twist so you could set yours apart from every other Robin Hood movie.
Yes.
Well, that said, shall we watch the honest trailer?
Let's jump right into
this.
There's so much to say about it. Yeah.
From the studio that combined hot actors with archery to create a hit phenomenon comes a movie that combines hot actors with archery to make also a movie. Robin Hood.
Fair so
if your
far?
Lionsgate
Robin Hood has been...
It must suck to make so much money with those Hunger Games movies and then just see it all, not all, but a large chunk of it just down the drain.
Yeah.
Because they also did the, what are they even called? Allegiant and...
Divergent.
Yeah, Divergent series,
Yeah, they did that as well, right? And that did not...
No.
That didn't equal. But you would think
They didn't even make the TV show.
No.
It's honestly kind of weird Hunger Games hasn't spun off yet. You would think if that was your property, you'd be like, well, President Snow
Milk it.
prequel.
But
like,
even
you know.
Hunger Games was vastly diminishing returns
Sure.
by the end.
By the time they
Look
got to
at
the fourth one,
even
yeah.
worldwide, it was quickly going downhill.
Yeah, everyone
So,
kind of went, we got it.
We get it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next.
Yeah.
And they were really hoping that this Robin Hood was going to do something.
Do something.
Like, he's good looking. He arrows. That's all.
That
that
guy
was the
arrows.
secret
Yeah.
of Hunger Games success was the arrows.
He's a great personality, Taron Egerton.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, he's very funny.
Yeah,
he's very
Kingsman.
charismatic.
I think he's going to be great as Elton John.
I think Jamie Foxx is good in this movie. Everyone's doing their best.
Yeah, everyone is trying.
It's not their fault.
No.
I will say that. And honestly, Jamie Dornan, who is the sheriff,
Poor Jamie Dornan.
he's Will Scarlet
Scarlet,
in
yes.
this. He's a very good actor. He's in a TV series called The Fall. That's an Irish series. It's on Netflix. Gillian Anderson is in it with him, and it's great. And he's good. And so every time he's in a movie, I'm like, oh, it's the guy from The Fall. Even though it's like the 50 Shades movies, and now it's this one. He just like he's getting in the worst movies possible.
Is he the
Taylor Kitsch?
Yeah, he's the new Taylor Kitsch then.
It's just like you would be good if they put you in anything that wasn't horrible.
And yet,
Here we go.
let's go.
Robin Hood has been Flynn, foxy, feathery, funny,
Oh, that mullet.
and bad. Now he's back with an all-new twist. This time, he's played by that guy from Kingsman that you like. And, nope, that's it. Strap in as this Prince of Thieves takes on the Sheriff of Nottingham,
Ben
played
Mendelsohn.
by the current MVP of menacing bad guys, Ben Mendelsohn.
And they threw that goddamn fire! Out! I will burn their slums to the ground. Now I'm going to boil you in your own piss.
Pause.
Oh, he was trying to out. First of all,
I know what you're saying. I agree.
never try to out Rickman Alan Rickman.
No.
You will
No,
lose.
yeah.
You will lose every time. And he was trying to out Alan Rickman. That Sheriff of
Yeah.
Nottingham. You can't touch it.
Yeah.
Don't try to outdo it.
With the
It'll never be
spoon,
done.
Right.
it'll hurt more.
That's what I was going to say. Is
Yeah.
they're even doing the thing where he promises over-the-top punishments, which is Rickman's bit in
Yep.
Prince of Thieves.
Yep.
Come on.
Never getting a Rickman off with Alan
Yeah.
Rickman
Yeah,
because you
no,
will lose
you will
every
lose.
time.
Come on.
I do like, though, the idea of in acting just being really good at one very specific thing, and someone's like, we need someone who can just menacingly yell nonsense. Mendelsohn. Give me
Mendelsohn.
Mendelsohn.
Get me- yeah.
He'll just
Yeah,
come
give
in
me-
and
yeah,
just be like,
Mendelsohn.
I'll kill you with a can of Pepsi. We good? Lunch?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
He's good at it. Watch Bloodline if you've never seen it. It's good until it's
Oh,
not
look at
anymore.
this freeze frame. That sums it up. That's Ben Mendelsohn's career circa 2019.
Yep. My favorite role of his is in Quigley Down Under.
That's a long time ago. Classic.
Of course it is.
I told him that I liked him since Quigley Down Under when I met him for the Rogue One junket, and I got a very odd look from him.
I'm sure you did.
He must have been pretty young in that movie. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that's a long...
25, 30 years ago?
Anyway, if you're a fan of Australian Westerns, make sure you see Quigley Down Under. Let's go.
Piss.
But Robin,
I'm
Rob has backup, like Jamie Foxx's John, who's only called John because foreign names are hard.
Yahya Ibn Umar.
Yokyab.
We use this joke.
Yahya. No. Yah.
Do it.
Please, no more.
We use this joke all the time.
Yeah.
Yorgos Lanthimos. It's an honest trailers level joke.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
judge that how you will in this film.
Foreign
You know
names
what?
are funny.
Be better than us.
You can.
No, this is not us making this joke. This is the movie making this
Yes,
joke. We're just
yes.
pointing it out.
I'm just saying that is
We
the
do
level
this-
of humor at
we
which
do this
they're
bit.
operating is
Yeah.
when we can't think of anything to say about The Favorite and Yorgos Lanthimos directed it. That's the level of
Yeah.
humor.
So at that point, you're waiting for Friar Tuck to come out and be like, "Beep."
Exactly. Yeah. Pretty much.
We also saw that shot where Rob shoots the arrow at John and then it hits the plank and then the camera like does that 180
Yes.
spin to show you like, oh, he had a board in front of him. There aren't any other shots like that in the movie. It's like one scene that Guy Ritchie like came in and guest directed.
Yeah.
It's such a weird stylistic choice because it's the only shot like that.
Yeah, well, because stuff like that, the movie then has no style because it just scene by scene is like, that's a cool thing from another thing we've seen.
Oh, Dark Knight Rises, yeah.
When it becomes Black Hawk Down for one sequence.
Oh, God. Yeah, let's keep going. Because we got to get to that.
Has backup, like Jamie Foxx's John, who's only called John because foreign names are hard.
Yahya Ibn Umar.
You'll call though, we're hypocrites.
Please, no more.
A Friar Tuck who thinks he's in the Mel Brooks version.
There's been another minor incident.
A Will Scarlet that's also here. And Marion, the woman that Robin wants to spin around with for the rest of his life.
So, pause. I found this very interesting, which is when you watch the movie, they're building up the entire Robin Marion romance is building up to the big love scene.
Yeah.
Like they're spinning around the castle and they're talking about how they loved each other. And in any other movie, it would show you that moment of them, like at least just some kind of.
You would do the shot of them and they fall down on the bed, and then you tastefully pan to the window.
Pan. There was not even a tasteful pan to a fireplace. They're literally just spinning around in the castle. And then he gets, as we note later, a draft notice for the Crusades.
Sure.
I guess that was a choice. Yeah.
It's like a Ralph Wiggum thing. I saw Daddy spin with Mommy.
Yeah.
And the baby looked at me.
Yeah.
It's very odd. And I mean, their whole relationship is very odd. Like it just feels like underdeveloped, sort of.
He catches her trying to steal one of his horses.
Right.
Which he then gives her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's sort of like, well, if you had just asked, I would have given it to you anyway.
And then she gets to live in his castle.
And then they just like fall in love immediately.
Out the gate, there's like an interesting story maybe there. That like he catches this lady robbing from him. He's like this spoiled rich kid. And maybe if you just stick with that, just stick with that. Don't do the crusade. Like do the whole just weird class thing with them, and he gets caught up with these thieves because of her, and his dad's like, don't throw it away over a girl, or whatever. I don't Maybe that's cool. That's a new take.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's different from Prince of what they do is just Prince of Thieves. Yeah. And it's like, at least that's not Prince of Thieves. Like Robin of Locksley in that one doesn't start off as like a selfish jerk. And so that's a different play on it, at least.
That's where I was, because he's like, it doesn't start with the thief so forget what you know. And so I was like, oh, okay, it'll be, nope, it's not. It's just, okay, got it.
Start with
All right, let's go.
His life. There are a ton of married men that never end up in the movies, guys. There's Gilbert Whitehand, the Scotchman. Where are my Reynold Greenleaf fans at? Come on, anybody? Ooda lolly, I'm lonely. Journey to an all-new Nottingham, set in the Nordstrom Rack era of England, where crossbows are rapid-fire machine guns.
It's got old.
And archers sneak around like SEAL Team 6, but after you forget what you think you know.
It looks dumb. Like
so many people with longbows just walking around
like they're doing like the check your six, like the SEAL team, movements.
Yeah, like the check your corners and.
But if there was a guy behind you, you're dead before you could turn around and fire an arrow. It's like this for close quarters combat. It doesn't really make any sense.
Also, I'm gonna throw this out there. At the time of the Crusades, these cities, not horrible ruins.
Yeah. That's true as well.
The Crusades made them horrible ruins. Remember they dropped ordnance?
Yeah.
Remember, like they did the thing where they gave them their coordinates to
they
try
Michael Bay'd it.
Yeah, because it was like catapults and stuff.
So it's just no concept. Like I'm not saying it has to be like vividly historically accurate. No. But it's just got to look possible.
I'm gonna say this: if you're gonna take that big of a home run where you're like. Complete alternate history. Everything's kind of a combination between the past and fantasy and modern, like Nordstrom Rack, slim fitting tux or whatever, where everyone's walking around in their finest blue blazer. Plus the weird SEAL Team 6 stuff. If you're gonna take swings that big, you've got to make an entertaining movie, one that you're like, you know what, it was weird but super fun, and cool.
Consistent moment. It's got to feel like it's all happening in one reality, whereas this does not at all. It feels like sometimes it's in the Middle Ages, and sometimes it's like the 1800s, sometimes it's last week. It's just like there's no setting.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Ew.
Let's go.
But after you forget what you think you know.
Forget what you think you know.
Yeah, that line's in the movie, by the way.
I said that. There's plenty of stuff that you already knew from the other Robin Hoods. Like Robin having a cool black friend. Robin being a disgraced lord. The baddie having a wacky sidekick. And a creepy religious figure lurking in the background.
We will have absolute power.
You won't certain hire yourself a witch, I'm just your cook.
So, did you tell me to forget what I know because you already knew what I know and knew you didn't have anything new? Because you've just replaced what I knew with a version of what I already knew that I'd like to forget, you know? But this
Pause.
is not.
Good job.
Thank you. First, I'll say, as long as it's within my power and our head writer isn't here to tell me I can't do it, I will always put clips from Robin Hood Men in Tights into honest trailers somehow. And then I also just realized, I think the guy that does the Andre the Giant obey probably has a decent lawsuit with the wanted posters in this movie.
Oh, Shepard Fairey, you're right.
Yeah.
It's a little Shepard
It's
Fairey
very
inspired.
well. It's this movie is rooted in 2000. This movie, you can tell, was written and conceived of in about 2008, 2009.
In an Urban Outfitters.
In an urban, but just the idea of the Occupy Wall Street was obviously very much on their mind when this was developed. The lengths to which this project went through development is very obvious.
Marion and Will Scarlett especially have a very, like, they're community organizers.
Yes.
You know, it's very, that's a very modern sort of take on it for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's just not, it doesn't work.
There she is. Oh, she's great. You changed it to latrine? It used to be house. Good change. Let's go.
Just more Men in Tights.
I love this movie so much.
Let's just watch Men in Tights here on the show.
So, did you tell me to forget what I know because you already knew what I know and knew you didn't have anything new? Because you've just replaced what I knew with a version of what I already knew that I'd like to forget, you know? But this is not just a boring copy of every Robin Hood movie you've seen. It's also the worst version of every Batman you've seen.
Yeah. Where is he? Where'd he go?
Because this Robin Hood is also a rich young man that trained in a distant land, who returned home to fight injustice as a masked vigilante, helps his social activist girlfriend protect the slums. It's a secret identity speed bump in his love life.
The shots are the same.
Yeah.
Is your mask?
This is the same line.
Yes, a disguise.
Inspires the population to rise up against a villain and twist the good guy dating his ex into
This part is
This is
just,
egregious.
Come on.
Come on! They even steal from CW's Arrow.
We still found arrows on the scene. Solid evidence the hood was there.
And that's a show that was already about an archer that was stealing from Batman. Lord Loxley, you have failed this franchise.
Pause.
So take...
You don't. You don't not know that you're doing that.
No, they're very aware.
Yeah.
The Two-Face, he looks the same.
He made him into a Two-Face.
He's clearly evoking
He's
Two-Face
Two-Face.
from Dark Knight in that scene.
You're either a hero or you live long enough to die. He's literally a hero who then does not die and lives to see himself become the villain.
It's incredibly blatant. They definitely knew, but you also have to wonder, like, are they hoping that it's subtle enough that audiences won't realize they're being refed?
He made him into an actual Two-Face,
That's what I mean. Like, you would think that in order to do that, you'd be like, well, we have to change it enough so people don't realize we're ripping it off and we're just like suggesting, you know, it's like a thing they like that they don't know. But if you make it this blatant, everybody's just like, oh, it's like Batman.
The only thing they didn't do is have the sheriff of Nottingham gets punched in the throat and have him come out like, oh, Robin Hood, I hope you now.
It's very blatant.
It's like they just started to double down.
You want to know how I got this slim-fitting jacket?
Everything, when I remember, like, when she said Loxley is the disguise, I think I just went, ugh. It was a very small screening room and it was very uncomfortable. But luckily Roth, I think, did the same thing because we saw it together. Like, we both got invited to the same screen. It was just like, what? Because it was immediately followed by a line of, she literally goes, if not you, who? If not now, when? It's like, did they give up? Did they just give up on the writing and they got to like page 100 and they're like, and whatever. Just
I don't know. Batman. They just kept writing Batman.
I think that's what, like, the actual explanation is probably, like, the producers just kept saying, like, more like a superhero movie, every new draft that came in. And eventually the writers were just like, well, I'll just rewrite a famous superhero movie. Yeah. And then the producers were like, exactly, thanks, guys.
That's really why I pushed for us to do an honest trailer for this. It's not even really for the views. It's almost for posterity. I just felt like this needed to be preserved for posterity.
Sure.
I mean, I'm guessing
lest anyone actually never know that this happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing that was the pitch. Like, what if Robin Hood, but superhero movie?
Oh yeah,
right.
No, you're absolutely
like,
right.
how can we take every public domain character and make them into
Batman.
a Marvel character or DC character?
No, you're totally right.
Yeah.
I had even almost tapped out at this point because
like, stop taking notes, just like forget.
Kinda. The moment that like these guys if you're gonna have so you're writing a movie about an archer. And you're like, how can we make sure that it's believable that he's taking down all these dudes and stuff like that? Maybe your city guards and your bad guy knights are just like dudes without helmets, just like in leather armor or something. Or just tunics or something. So maybe, Arrow's taking them down. But these guys are straight up tanks. Like they're just wearing sheets of iron.
Yeah, they look like the Mountain.
Yeah. And like they're all just I mean, just helmets that are like this thick. And he's like, ha. And the guy's like, pink. Ah!
That's what I mean, because like, if you're gonna make a bow and arrow look like, you could take out a city with one, and you have to do that. Doesn't work any other way. But like, it looks stupid.
Yes. So at that point, I had already, like, the moment I saw him put an arrow through like a 6-inch piece of plate metal on a guy's forehead, I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then you guys were like, it's real Batman-y, and I was like, okay, let me take a look. Let me take a look back at the tape. Oh God, it is.
I'll tell you at the end of Starring, because we addressed it. I'll tell you when I was done with the movie, but
ooh,
it was slightly before Batman. But
okay, I was like, after the Starring the tag immediately, because the tag is about the beginning of the movie.
No. After
that was when I was done with the movie.
5 minutes in, you were done. We'll get there too.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
Failed this franchise. So take aim with this wannabe franchise starter that missed the target by creating a cool fantasy world and filling it with a boring story, resulting in one of the biggest flops of 2018, which probably pumped the brakes on the other 6 Robin Hood movies also in development. Wait, 7? Margot Robbie's Maid Marian? What the heck's the Prince of Aragon? Robin Hood 2058? Okay, I would totally watch Robin Hood 2058.
I would watch out of curiosity.
Pause. That came out because we had another ending, and actually during the read through, we were just reading through the article, and Danielle Radford was in writing something else, and she just out of nowhere was like, I don't watch Robin Hood 2058, and you were like, that's the last time.
I would also watch Robin Hood 2058.
When I used to do script reading, I'll make this quick. When I used to read scripts, there was one that was called, I'll guess I say it, Neverland, and it was Peter Pan 2058, and it was just like in this future, and Captain Hook was a drug dealer, and like they were all like these young hackers, like Peter and the Lost Boys, and like kind of stupid, but also kind of cool.
I'll watch that.
Yeah.
This would have been way better if it was like cyberpunk Robin Hood. Yeah. Like they missed the boat by not doing that.
Yeah. I also love the idea of 2058 being a distant, far-flung future at this point. Like in the
50s, it seemed like 2058.
Yeah, well,
was
2058 will never get here.
Yeah.
At this point, we're just like,
Oh yeah,
2058. Yeah,
before you know it,
it'll be 2058.
Everybody's Jordans will look a little different, and that's about it. Okay. All right, Starring. Let's do this.
2058? Okay, I would totally watch Robin Hood 2058. Starring Bro and Arrows. We take the money for those in need.
We make John do some dumb
Ocasio-Cortez. 2 Shades of Face.
Thank you.
Alan
Shades of Face. 2 of my favorites for very different reasons. The incredibly clever and funny Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And then we're trying to figure out Jamie Dornan's. And Dan just goes, 2 Shades of Face.
It's almost like a thought exercise.
Yeah.
I just need to get some random words out.
Yeah. And it worked.
Yeah.
Look, biggest laugh in the room. It goes in.
Sometimes the dumbest one apparently is.
Yeah. That's with Starring, it is sometimes like aim for the silliest
highbrow,
thing.
political humor, or
2 Shades of Face. I loved it. It stays.
All right.
Alan Prickman, Friar Fest, and Robin Hood's mask falling off.
Props to Kevin, our editor here.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Great.
How did you know it was me?
It wasn't hard. Robin Hood, Man It Bites.
All right, pause. That moment, it was one of the masks falling off. It's when they're they have this big treasury robbery. It's their big bold move. And he jumps out the window and lands in the cart, and they're racing away, and his mask has fallen down. And they're in the cart, and he's talking to Jamie Foxx.
There's people everywhere.
There's a crowd of people on the street. He's in the back of the cart talking to Jamie. This is halfway through the movie. Talking to Jamie Foxx. Everybody, the guards see them, the townspeople see them, and yet throughout the rest of the film, everyone's like, who is the Hood? Who is Robin Hood? And I'm just like, I know that there's a certain amount of suspension of disbelief that you have to give any superhero movie. If I saw Bruce Wayne in the Batsuit without a cowl, in the Batmobile with Alfred, his public butler, driving the Batmobile, I might think that maybe Batman is Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. There's just no, there was no mask work attention. Nobody was like, hey, you got to put your mask on so they can see who you are.
No,
it was just
listen, we paid $5 million for that face. Nah, no one will care.
And also, on that note, speaking of his Alfred, his sidekick / mentor / the guy that's like putting this whole thing together, the only Moor in the city,
in the country,
in a country that is at war with him, with his country. He's the only guy. He's not wearing a mask. He's not disguised.
And his
what
public,
are you doing?
He's not like he's hiding in Loxley. He's public. His public front is
his servant.
I am his manservant. Yeah. And yet he is constantly seen driving the Hood around. Like, you think maybe there's some connection there?
It's also he arrives and he's from where the Crusades. He's from the Middle East.
Yes.
He's part of the Crusades. He stows away on Robin's boat to come to England for the first time. It wasn't easy to go back and forth. He lands knowing everything about English society. He's got all these plans for how they're going to get the sheriff. He wouldn't know what a sheriff was. He's not from there.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know what a
boat ride. He was
is.
doing some reading.
No, he was stowed underneath the boat. He's like curled up like this. He's a stowaway. And then they land. He's like, all right, I got a plan. I know exactly. Here's what you got to do. You got to go rob that treasury. It's over there. Take a left. It's like, where you just got here.
We got to take down the cardinal.
The church runs on money. Like, how do you know?
Yeah, we should know any of this.
I don't know how the church runs.
Like, the movie doesn't know any information about England. How do you know?
Again, cool opportunity to do something new. If, like, in the Crusades, he meets this dude who's, like, a higher-up.
Yeah.
Because as far as we know, he's just a grunt and him and his son are serving in the war.
Right.
But if it's like, oh, no, he's, like, this, like, high-up dude that's like, I want to bring a stop to all of this.
Right. If they'd
You're
set
a
him up
lord?
as...
Let's do it.
Right. You could have done a version of it where he gets to Robin in the Middle East and is like, let's go back to England. I've got a plan. And then it makes sense. This way, it's just like, oh, you just lucked out and got the one Moor in all of Jordan who knows exactly how the feudal system is set up.
Yeah, good thing I plucked this guy out of Mogadishu along with the rest of my Black Hawk Down team.
All the Crusade stuff is so powerfully stupid.
We're
it made
almost
me
there,
really angry.
We're almost there, Lon. We put it in there at the end.
Oh, boy.
Yep, let's do it.
Robin Hood, Man It Bites. You know how done this movie is? We didn't even mention how Robin answers the door to his own giant castle to get a draft notice for the Crusades.
Go, Lon.
I mean, you wouldn't get drafted in the Crusades. You would go yourself, like with knights, set lords funded themselves. The church wouldn't want to send you to the Crusades because then they'd have to pay for you to go. It's very expensive. That's why they recruited rich people to go. So there's no way you would be recruited. Also, the whole movie has the cardinal, like the sheriff's working for the cardinal, which makes no sense. There's a different, like the cardinal's the church and the sheriff works for the king. He's like a cop. It would be like if you had a movie and there was a small town and the police officer worked for the priest. Like that's not how it happens.
But Lon, money runs the show. That the guy that came from the Crusades told me so.
Oh, it's just mad. The whole thing is just every new scene is like one more just wildly stupid thing.
Because of your hatred of the, because that was one of the first notes you sent while I was putting this draft together was like, why is he opening his own door?
Yeah, yeah.
I started looking at that more and I was like, Where is anyone?
Nobody.
No,
There's no one in his castle.
No, he doesn't have any people working in his castle. There's no I don't think you see a single servant throughout the entire movie. There's that one scene where he comes into the stable while she's stealing the horse, and they have background extras going like it was a lived-in area. Yeah. But that's it. Otherwise, it's all empty hall. He's cleaning that whole place himself every day.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I don't know. It's like a con man who is like, yeah, this is my house.
Yeah,
because the people are away or whatever. And he's trying to impress a lady.
For the first few scenes, you're kind of waiting for like his dad or his mom. Like he doesn't seem like he's the lord running that whole castle. No, he is. There's
literally running the whole castle.
Himself, answering the door, cooking the meals. He's tending to the horses. There's a lot of work to run.
He was a man of the people.
To run Loxley Manor. It seems like it would be a lot of work.
How were there like holes in the roof? Was there a battle at Loxley Manor? Because it comes back and it's just decrepit.
It's wrecked.
It's destroyed.
In 4 years, it's wrecked. Like, there are castles in ruins that are in better shape now.
But that's the other thing, too, is that if his castle had been taken away, it would have been given to somebody. They're just leaving it.
Yeah, the sheriff would live in it or
empty.
something.
No, it was seized.
Yeah, but it's just sitting empty. Like, that would be a lot of money you're just leaving on the table. It should be worked. And somebody should live there, and then you'd want them to pay you taxes. You don't just want it to sit empty.
I think it was seized and moved to the Crusades, and then they moved it back right before he got home.
You whine, we move. Get it out of here, boys.
It's like, I'm not a medieval scholar. These are just obvious things.
Well, by this movie's standards line, you are.
Yeah, but anybody would be.
Oh, man.
Also, the very first scene in the church when we meet Friar Tuck, he's taking confession, which friars don't do. That's priests.
They just drink.
Friars are monks.
They just drink wine.
They make beer. They don't take confession.
I didn't make it to the trailer, but yes, so they could not resist doing the "You're one good friar, Tuck."
Yeah.
I was amazed at the movie because the movie ends. Again, they at the end they pull a Robin Hood Begins, and him and his now merry men are like
to the forest.
Yeah, and I'm amazed that they weren't like Sherwood. That's a good place to hang out. I'm amazed they didn't do that.
I was waiting for. Shall we go? This next wood seems good, sire. It's called Sherwood. Like I totally thought that moment was coming. Yes. But they try a weird. I'm gonna spoil the end of the movie.
That's fine.
They do this weird sleight of hand where the whole movie they're like, this is the sheriff of Nottingham, and at the end they're like, he wasn't the real sheriff of Nottingham. This is the real sheriff of Nottingham. It's like it's too late. Like,
I just love that someone thought that was a clever twist.
Yeah, it's like you can't just do a switcheroo so he can kill the bad guy in the next movie. It's like that's so dumb. Of course we're not gonna go for that.
It's My big thing, again, was like you go out of your way to make a cool, weird fantasy world, and you just fill it with nothing. Like, the Guy Ritchie King Arthur is dumb, but at least, like, they took their big swing, and until the third act where it just turned into a video game boss fight, where the big evil version of
Jude Law.
Yeah, it's Jude Law. It was just like, don't touch the orb, no, like, or whatever.
They kind of go Skybeam a little bit.
Yeah, they went Skybeam.
Kind of can't resist.
But until
Skybeam.
then, I was just like, I don't know that I like this, but at least it's just crazy and like consistently crazy.
I was bored a lot during Robin Hood. I was not bored a lot during King Arthur. I was engaged in thinking that it was stupid, but I was engaged.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah,
but it was weird.
They're both bad. This is worse. Let me say that.
I'm gonna go home and rewatch Prince of Thieves.
There you go.
You know what? Pretty good. Holds up.
Not bad.
Do we have any deleted scenes that we need to watch?
I think we do.
We do.
Starring Not So Sterling Archer,
Phrasing.
Jamie of Foxley, and Fool of a Tuck. Bowman begins.
There
you go.
That's
If the Crusades draft comes back, I'm going to Canada.
Crusades.
And that's the movie.
There you go.
That's all the parts of the movie you need to worry about. I think we got every interesting moment in there.
Again, this is really for posterity.
Yeah, this is so that people know that we were the watchers on the watchtower.
We were the watchers on the wall, and now our watch has ended.
This is going to be one of those, like, in 10 years, will people remember there was the Russell Crowe Robin Hood and then the Taron Egerton one, or will they just meld totally together in people's minds?
I think so, yeah. No one will remember these.
That bad aughts Robin Hood experiment.
Well, there's going to be another one in 8 to 10 years, so
probably.
Yeah,
it's free. They can just keep making. However
or these
many
other
they
ones
want.
they're just going to keep cranking through the. I still want to watch Robin Hood 2058.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Get going.
Guys, let us know in the comments which Robin Hood spinoff you're most excited for. Next week is
another franchise.
That's not good.
I don't actually know what this is.
There you go.
See if I can figure it out.
Let's let people guess because we make it too easy, and now nobody will know if they got it right.
Yeah, it's another. Yeah, it's bad. We'll see you guys right here next week. See you later. Bye, guys.